You ever feel like a dog chasing a car? Running, panting, desperate to catch something you wouldn't even know what to do with if you got it? That's how they've trained you. Yeah, trained. Like some pet, waiting for scraps. They throw distractions at you. Shiny little toys to keep you occupied, to keep your eyes off the truth. They want you looking at the lights, the noise, the spectacle, while they pull the strings behind the curtain. But you're different. At least you could be. If you wake up. See, they don't want you to focus. Focus is dangerous. It cuts through their illusions like a blade through silk. Focus is power. And power, real power, it terrifies them. They want you scrolling, liking, sharing, envying, chasing. They want your mind bouncing from one thing to another, never settling long enough to see the bigger picture. Because the moment you see, really see, the game they're playing, it's over for them. They dangle fake victories in front of you, don't they? Get the degree, get the job, get the car, get the house, get the approval. Like a hamster wheel, spinning and spinning, but you're still in the cage. Ever wonder why? No matter how much you win, you still feel empty. It's because you're playing their game. And in their game, you never win. Let me tell you what winning really looks like. Winning is not playing at all. Winning is stepping off that wheel, smashing the damn cage, and becoming untouchable. And to do that, you need focus. The kind of focus that makes people uncomfortable. The kind of focus that makes people fear you because they can't shake you. They can't distract you. They can't pull you into their little dramas and their stupid games. Oh, they'll try, trust me. They'll whisper in your ear, relax a little. They'll call you obsessed, crazy, heartless. Because to them, discipline looks like madness. But listen to me. The undisciplined call, the disciplined insane. Let them talk. Let them laugh. And you keep moving. You see, most people, they crave validation. They need someone to tell them they're good, they're right, they're enough. But when you focus, when you cut through the noise, you won't need their approval. And that's when they'll really hate you. That's when they'll call you dangerous. Because a man who doesn't seek approval is a man they can't control. Ever notice how the strongest people don't speak much? They don't argue, they don't defend, they don't beg to be understood. They just move. They just build, while everyone else is whining, pointing fingers, playing the victim. They're creating, they're mastering, they're rising. You could be one of them, but only if you starve the distractions. Do you know why people fear the dark? It's not because they can't see. It's because in the darkness, there are no distractions. It's just you and your thoughts. And most people can't handle that. They need the noise, the chaos, the constant chatter. Because if they were left alone with themselves, they'd have to face what they really are. But you embrace it. You sit in that silence. You let it burn away the weakness, the doubt, the fear. And then you come back sharper than ever. You see, the real war, it's not outside. It's not with them. It's inside. It's the war against your own weakness, your own excuses, your own distractions. And the moment you win that war, nothing else matters. Because when you're truly focused, their games, their lies, their little manipulations, they become laughable. You won't even be angry anymore. You'll just see them for what they are. Small, petty, insignificant. So tell me, are you ready to starve the distractions? Are you ready to step off their stage? Are you ready to become untouchable? Then focus and never look back. You know what the funniest part is? The moment you pull away, the moment you stop feeding their games, they panic. They lose their grip. Because people like you, the ones who see through the mask, you terrify them. They built this entire world around illusions, around cheap tricks, around making you feel like you need them. But when you finally stop playing, when you stop chasing their empty rewards, when you stop needing their approval, they crumble. They realize you were never theirs to control. You ever watch someone try to play chess against a man who refuses to make a move? They sit there, waiting, strategizing, trying to anticipate your next step. But you're not even on the board. You're somewhere else entirely, building something real. That's what happens when you focus. That's what happens when you cut the noise. You stop reacting to their bait. You stop engaging in their pointless arguments, their mindless distractions, their fake little dramas designed to keep you spinning in circles. And suddenly, they don't know what to do with you because they need your attention desperately. They need you to watch, to care, to respond. They need you hooked on their games, hooked on their validation, hooked on their opinions. Because the moment you unplug, they lose all power over you. And that drives them insane. You ever see someone get mad when you stop responding? When you stop arguing, stop explaining, stop defending yourself? They scramble. They need you to react. But you've already moved on. You're too busy, too locked in, too focused on building, while they're still stuck in their little worlds of gossip, jealousy, and cheap distractions. And let me tell you something. Nothing breaks people more than being ignored. They can handle insults. They can handle fights. They thrive on drama. But when you become so focused, so unshakable, that you no longer even see them, that's when they start falling apart. Because they realize you were never playing the same game. You were never competing with them. You were always destined for something bigger. But here's the real test. Can you handle being alone? Because focus, real focus, it's lonely. You will lose people. You will outgrow them. And it won't even be a conscious decision. They'll remove themselves. Because when you start moving at a different speed, when you start thinking on a different level, they won't be able to keep up. And instead of pushing themselves to grow, instead of stepping up, they'll resent you. They'll make excuses. They'll say you've changed, you've become distant, you've lost yourself. But you didn't lose yourself. You found yourself. You stopped wasting time. You stopped watering dead plants. You stopped pretending that people who had no discipline, no vision, no strength were your equals. They were never your equals. You just lowered yourself to their level for too long. So what happens now? Now you rise. You put your head down, you shut out the noise, and you build the life they never believed you could. Not to prove them wrong, no, not for them, for you. Because this was never about them. It was never about making them understand, making them respect you, making them believe in you. It was about you finally believing in yourself. And when you finally arrive, when you become everything they said you couldn't, you won't even feel the need to tell them. You won't go back to rub it in their faces. You won't care if they see it or not. Because by then, they won't matter. Their opinions, their judgments, their doubts, none of it will touch you anymore. Because you'll be too far ahead, too locked in, too focused on the next mountain, the next level, the next vision. That's power. Not money, not fame. Control. Control over yourself. Control over your mind. Control over your focus. That's what makes you unstoppable. So tell me, are you ready to be unstoppable? Or are you still worried about their games? You see, the world isn't run by the loud ones. It isn't ruled by those who scream the most, who fight for attention, who beg to be seen. No, the world belongs to those who know how to move in silence. The ones who disappear for months, for years, who let everyone think they've fallen off, when in reality, they've been sharpening their swords in the shadows. That's where the real power is. That's where legends are made. Not in the noise, not in the spectacle, but in the relentless, silent work that no one sees. You ever wonder why the most powerful men don't talk much? Why the most dangerous minds don't explain themselves? Because they don't have to. They don't waste energy on convincing people, on proving themselves, on seeking validation. They already know who they are. They already know what they're building. And they don't need anyone's approval to do it. That's the difference between you and them. That's what separates the kings from the pawns, the predators from the prey. The weak need eyes on them. The strong, they just need time. Time to build. Time to grow. Time to become untouchable. But that's the problem, isn't it? Most people don't have the patience to disappear. They need to be seen. They need applause, reassurance, attention. They want results now, today, instantly. And because of that, they break. Because the journey, it's long, it's lonely, it's brutal, and most people aren't built for it. They want shortcuts, they want hacks, they want to climb the mountain without bleeding for it. And when they realize there's no easy way, they quit, they settle, they convince themselves they never wanted it in the first place. And that's where you must be different. You have to love the climb. You have to fall in love with the process, with the hunger, with the suffering, because that's what makes you dangerous. Not money, not status, not some empty title. Hunger. The kind of hunger that makes a man unstoppable. The kind of hunger that makes people afraid because they can't buy you, they can't tempt you, they can't break you. And when you reach that level, when you become so focused, so locked in, so obsessed that nothing else matters, that's when you become a problem. Because now you're no longer part of their game. Now, you don't care about their distractions, their approval, their empty little victories. Now you are playing a game they don't even understand. While they're fighting for attention, for clout, for meaningless trophies, you're building something real. And that terrifies them. Because deep down, they know they wasted their time. They know they took the easy road. They know they settled for comfort instead of greatness. But by the time they realize it, it's too late. You're already too far ahead. You're already too powerful, too disciplined, too unshakable. And that's when they'll try to pull you back. That's when they'll start whispering in your ear again. You've changed. You're too serious. Relax a little. Because your existence, your focus, is a reminder of everything they could have been. And instead of pushing themselves, instead of rising to your level, they want to drag you back down to theirs. But you won't go back, not this time, because now you see it. Now you understand. The distractions, the noise, the games. It was all designed to keep you small, to keep you weak, to keep you chasing instead of building. And now that you see the truth, you'll never be blind again. Because the moment you wake up, the moment you finally understand that focus is power, you become something else entirely. You become unstoppable. You don't react. You don't chase. You build. And no one, no force, no amount of distractions can ever take that away from you. So let them talk. Let them laugh. Let them doubt you. Let them think you've lost. And then, when the time is right, show them what focus really looks like. But here's the part they'll never tell you. The part they don't want you to figure out. The moment you stop playing their game, the moment you silence the noise, the moment you truly lock in, the world shifts. You stop chasing, and everything starts chasing you. The respect, the success, the opportunities, the power. It all starts flowing to you. Not because you begged for it, not because you followed their rules, but because you became the kind of person who commands it without asking. That's the secret. That's the cheat code they don't teach you. The moment you stop craving validation is the moment you become undeniable. But most people, they'll never get there. They'll spend their whole lives looking left and right, checking who's ahead, who's watching, who's approving. They'll waste years in competition with people who don't even matter, fighting for attention that disappears the second they look away. And when they reach the end, when they finally realize they were running on a treadmill, moving fast but going nowhere, it'll be too late. And that's why you need to detach now, not tomorrow. Now burn the need for validation, erase the desire for approval, walk away from their games, and never look back. Because you don't need them. You never did. You were just taught to believe that you did. But once you see it, once you truly see it, everything changes. You start moving different. You stop wasting words. You stop explaining yourself. You stop chasing the things they told you to chase. And that's when the fear sets in for them, not you. Because now they know they can't reach you anymore. They can't manipulate you. They can't slow you down. They can't make you doubt yourself. And nothing scares weak people more than a man who doesn't need them. You'll notice it. The shift. The way they start acting different around you. The way their jokes stop being funny when you don't react. The way their words start sounding hollow when you don't seek their approval. Because now you're seeing through them. Now you're seeing through the whole damn system. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. They'll call you cold. They'll say, you don't care. But what they really mean is, you don't care about their distractions anymore. You don't care about their fake drama, their empty opinions, their meaningless debates. Because you're too busy building something real. And that makes you a threat. You ever notice how they praise the ones who stay in line? The ones who follow the script? The ones who keep their heads down and don't ask questions? That's because those people are safe. They're predictable. They're controllable. But the moment you start thinking for yourself, the moment you start moving on your own terms, that's when you become dangerous. That's when they start fearing you. Because a man with focus, he's unstoppable. You can take his money, you can take his status, you can take his comforts, but you can't take his mind. You can't take his discipline. You can't take his will. And that's the one thing they'll never be able to break. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them try to pull you back into their world of distractions and illusions. And then keep moving. Keep building. Keep sharpening. Keep evolving. Because one day they'll look around and realize you're gone. You didn't just rise above them. You left them behind entirely. And by then, it won't even matter. Because you'll be too focused to hear them. Too locked in to care. Too busy winning a game they never even knew existed. And when you finally get there, when you've outgrown their world, when their opinions sound like distant echoes, when their little games seem so laughably small, you'll realize something. You never needed to fight them. You never needed to argue, to convince, to prove anything. All you had to do was walk away. That's the irony, isn't it? The strongest move was never about crushing them, never about forcing them to understand, never about getting even. It was about detachment, about stepping into a world they could never reach. Because people like them, the ones who cling to distractions, who drown in noise, who waste their lives chasing empty things, they don't belong in your world. They never did. And if you waste your time trying to pull them up, trying to explain what they refuse to see, trying to save those who don't want to be saved, you'll only slow yourself down. That's the hardest part, isn't it? The part that stings the most. Letting go. Realizing that not everyone is meant to come with you. That some people, they were never meant to last. But here's the truth. You can't carry dead weight and expect to fly. You can't reach the highest levels while dragging people who refuse to climb. You can't rise while still worrying about those who are perfectly content staying exactly where they are. And if you try, if you spend your life waiting for them to catch up, waiting for them to understand, waiting for them to match your hunger, you'll die waiting, because they will never change. Not until it's too late. Not until they've wasted everything and have nothing left but regret. So you have two choices. Move forward or stay behind. Keep rising or keep waiting. But understand this. Every second you waste trying to explain yourself, trying to make them see, trying to get them to understand, you're stealing from your future, from the man you could become, from the empire you could build, from the life that could have been yours if only you had let go sooner. And make no mistake, they will come back. Oh, they always do. The same ones who doubted you, who laughed, who mocked your discipline, who said you were taking life too seriously. They will return. But not because they respect you, not because they finally see your vision, but because they need something. Maybe it's your success. Maybe it's your guidance. Maybe it's just the hope that being near you will make them feel less like the failures they became. And you will have a choice. You could let them in, give them a seat at the table they never helped you build. Or you could remember they wouldn't have done the same for you. When you were struggling, where were they? When you were grinding in silence, where was their support? When you were suffering, growing, evolving, did they stand by you? Or did they mock you, doubt you, try to pull you back down? That's the test. That's the moment that will reveal everything. And if you're smart, if you truly understand the price of growth, you will shut the door, not out of hatred, not out of revenge, but because some bridges are meant to stay burned, because some people were never meant to be part of the final picture. And that's the final step, isn't it? The last lesson. The ability to walk away without a second thought, to cut off anything, anyone that no longer serves your purpose, to protect your vision with an iron will. Because greatness, it demands sacrifice. And the greatest sacrifice of all, letting go of the life, the people, the habits, the illusions that no longer belong to you. So ask yourself, do you have the strength to let go, to detach completely, to move forward without looking back? Because if you do, you're already untouchable. You've already won, not because you proved them wrong, not because you made them regret ever doubting you, but because their games, their noise, their entire existence no longer matters. And that, my friend, is the moment you become something else entirely. Something they can't define, something they can't label, something beyond their comprehension, because they've spent their whole lives being predictable, reacting, seeking approval, moving with the crowd. But you move with purpose. You walk through life like a ghost, unaffected by their noise, untouchable by their games, invisible to their distractions. It'll frustrate them. It'll enrage them. Because people like them, they need a reaction. They need to know they still matter. They need to believe that their opinions, their gossip, their little criticisms still hold weight in your world. But when you don't flinch, when you don't even acknowledge their existence, that's when they break. That's when they realize they never had power over you to begin with. And here's the coldest truth of all. They'll spend their whole lives watching you, watching your moves, watching your success, watching the way you operate without a single care for their opinions. And it'll eat them alive, because deep down, they'll know. They could have been more. They could have done more, been greater, built something real. But instead, they wasted their time playing games, chasing validation, living for the approval of people just as lost as they were. By then, though, it won't even matter, because you'll be too far ahead. You won't even see them in your rear view. Their doubts, their insults, their disbelief. It'll all be distant echoes from a world you no longer belong to. A world you outgrew while they stood still. And that's the difference between you and them. They stay the same, year after year. Stuck in the same cycles, repeating the same mistakes, living the same empty lives. But you evolve. You shed your old skin, burn away your weaknesses, sharpen yourself into something unbreakable. And with every version of yourself that dies, a stronger one is born. Most people fear that. They fear change, fear transformation, fear leaving behind the comfort of who they were. But you embrace it, because you know the truth. Comfort is a slow death. Familiarity is a prison. The moment you stop growing, stop pushing, stop evolving, you start dying. That's why you keep moving. Not because you're running from anything, but because you refuse to rot in the same place as the weak. You refuse to settle, to stagnate, to become another wasted life. You know that every second matters, every decision shapes you, every day is another chance to become more. And that kind of discipline, that kind of hunger, it's terrifying to those who have none. That's why they try to slow you down. That's why they whisper in your ear, try to make you feel guilty for outgrowing them. They'll say you changed, that you're not the same, that you've lost yourself. But the truth? They just can't stand that you had the courage to evolve while they remained the same. So let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them watch from the sidelines as you become everything they never had the discipline to be. And when they finally look up, when they finally realize how far you've gone, how much you've built, how untouchable you've become, it'll be too late for them to catch up. And that's when the silence will become unbearable. For them, not for you. Because for the first time in their lives, they'll have to sit in the emptiness they tried so hard to ignore. No more distractions, no more noise to drown out the truth, no more excuses to hide behind. Just them and their regrets. Just them and the realization that they wasted their time on things that never mattered, while you were busy becoming unstoppable. They'll try to justify it. Oh, I never wanted that life anyway. I was just enjoying myself. Success isn't everything. But deep down, they'll know. They'll know they could have been more. That they had the same 24 hours, the same chances, the same opportunities, but they threw them away. And you didn't. That's what burns them the most. Not your success, not your power, but the fact that they had a choice, just like you, and they chose wrong. The same late nights, the same sacrifices, the same discipline. You were willing to endure it and they weren't. That's the real difference. Not luck, not talent, just sheer, relentless focus. And by the time they realize it, it's over. Time is the one thing they can't get back. And you didn't waste a second. While they were caught in pointless drama, in empty pleasures, in chasing things that never filled them, you were building. While they laughed at your discipline, your seriousness, your refusal to waste time, you were stacking victories in silence. And now they have to live with that. Live with the weight of their own wasted years. And the worst part? There's no one to blame but themselves. No excuses, no scapegoats, just the brutal truth staring them in the face. You were always capable, but you chose comfort over greatness. And that's why they'll hate you. Not because you wronged them, not because you did anything to them, but because you remind them of their own weakness. You are living proof of what they could have been, what they should have been, if only they had the discipline to do what you did. But you won't feel a thing. No anger, no resentment, no need for revenge. because by then, they'll be nothing to you. Just shadows from a past you don't even think about. Just faces in a crowd you no longer recognize. Because when you move at a certain speed, when you operate on a different level, the people who once mattered become irrelevant. That's the final lesson. You outgrow them, and they never catch up. Not because they couldn't, but because they never even tried. And when you see them again, when they try to reach out, to reconnect, to act like they were always there, you'll feel nothing. No need to explain. No need to prove. No need to even acknowledge them. Because the truth is, you already won. Not because they lost, but because their games, their opinions, their entire existence stopped mattering a long time ago. And that's when you'll truly understand the power of silence. The power of moving without announcement, without explanation, without needing the world to clap for you. Because by then, you won't need applause. You won't need recognition. You'll have something far greater. Undeniable results. And results don't argue. Results don't beg to be understood. They just exist. Solid, unshakable proof of everything you worked for while they wasted time. And as you walk through the world you built with your own hands, you'll start to see them in the distance. The ones who laughed, the ones who doubted, the ones who tried to hold you back. They'll be right where you left them, stuck in the same cycles, repeating the same excuses. And when they finally look at you, when they finally understand that you made it without them, that you never needed their validation, that their opinions never even touched you, that's when they'll break. Because the truth will be inescapable. They had the same time, the same chances, the same days and nights, and they chose weakness. You chose focus. And now they have to live with that choice. You won't even feel the need to gloat, because by then, they'll be ghosts to you. Just distant memories of a past life. A life where you once cared about fitting in, about being understood, about making them see your vision. But that version of you, he's dead now. Replaced by someone colder, sharper, stronger. Someone who doesn't wait, doesn't explain, doesn't hesitate. Someone who moves forward without looking back, because the past is nothing but dead weight. And when they finally try to speak to you, when they try to drag you into old conversations, old dramas, old stories, you'll look at them, and for the first time, you'll feel absolutely nothing. No anger, no bitterness, no desire to prove anything. Because you'll finally understand they were never part of the plan. They were just obstacles, just distractions, just voices in the background of a world you outgrew. And as you turn away, as you walk into a future that belongs to you and only you, there will be no hesitation, no second thoughts, because now you are untouchable. Now you are free.